Hello everybody, my name is Jared and today we're going to be working on the work video for Shoto Todoroki for the Yukata version, which is an actual AU version of the outfit. So I will insert a picture of the design we've got for it here. Now here's the design that we've actually designed ourselves. This is my illustration and the design that one of my friends came up with. They are the deku for our group. I didn't follow this design to a T because I did have some problems with time running out, and also the detail levels and the gradient dye went a little bit wrong. So I actually changed it to be a split color design, and some of the details are absent, but those will be added in later on in the costume construction. So there will be a part 3 that comes out after these two parts, which is me updating and finishing up the little details that will be left off. And I will also insert a picture of the person who came up with the original idea, which is this person. Here is the art from the artist who actually designed the original costumes. The Bakugo of our group and the Deku of our group are both based on this artwork. I will also mention that we've also done a work log for the Bakugo outfit, and I will drop that link in the description below. So without further ado, this is going to be part 1 of the video series, so let's go. Okay, first we're going to work on the sash. All you're going to need for this is to take a red fabric with a small, not super detailed pattern, something that's not going to draw the eye too much, and you need to cut a long strip, 10 inches by 2 meters, and there's a reason for that in a little bit. You're going to take a gold ribbon. I took a 1 centimeter thick piece, and I laid it flat on the fabric edge, sewing along its edges, and I kept folding the ribbon and twisting it to create a pattern that's actually on the sash edge. It's quite confusing to explain. You can see what I'm doing here. You just sort of fold and then sew that edge, and then fold and then sew that edge, just so you're getting like a crisp fold for each bit. I chose to do this instead of pinning. You can pin it. I chose to do this just because it was a little bit easier than shifting pins around constantly. Then you're going to take your gold fringe, lay that along with the fringe flat over the pattern sewed, and then sew it along that edge. It's a little confusing to explain this bit, but all you're doing essentially is to lay it the wrong way that it would fold out, because we're actually going to turn all of this inside out in a little while. Then you're going to fold the sash long ways in half, so it's just going to get thinner, and it's still going to be 2 meters long. And you're going to pin along that edge and then sew it shut. Then you're going to turn it inside out and lay it flat with an iron. You need to really press this flat so you get a really crisp edge, and then sew along all of those edges with a top stitch to keep the sash flat and crisp. Then all I did is trim the fringe at the end of the sash, and there is your finished sash. Now we're going to work on the collar, as you can see pointed out here on the illustration. For this, all I did was take a strip of silver fabric. I chose to use a silver and black stripe fabric because I wanted to mimic the little collar thing that's on Shoto's hero costume. I'm going to take the fabric and I'm going to cut that to the width of my neck plus 2 inches, and that 2 inches is going to allow for velcro. I then cut the velcro, attach that to both ends, and then I fold it round so it can close like a collar and sew that velcro on. Next we're going to be working on the waist wrap and the bow. First you're going to need to take your waist measurement and cut a piece of a softly patterned yellow or mustard fabric to the waist measurement plus 2 inches by 6 inches. Again, I'm choosing a really softly patterned fabric purely because I don't want it to distract too much from the yukata, especially because I do actually want to detail the yukata again later. Then, for hemming the edges of this piece, you're just going to fold them over and then fold them over again, so that you can't see any rough edges and everything is tucked neatly and nicely underneath. And you're just going to sew over those edges just to keep them really crisp and flat. I also put a little bit of stiffener into the fabric at this point too, but it is not necessary for you to do this. I just chose to because I wanted it to sit really flat against me. I then sewed on some hook and eyes to close the back of the body section. I chose to make this the way that I close this one instead of the velcro from Bakugo's piece, just because I wanted it to be able to cinch in a little bit more than Bakugo's does, because Bakugo's is a much thinner piece of fabric. I then cut a second strip of the same length of fabric that was this time by 3 inches, and repeated the hemming process on that. And then I repeated this process again, this time with the red fabric from the sash, and the measurement now was the same length, but by 4.5 inches. I then layered them all up on top of each other and sewed them all flat down onto each other to create this layered effect. I then cut 2 squares of 15 by 15 inches of the yellow fabric, and then I pinned them all together all around the sides and then sewed them all the way around except for a 2-inch gap that I left in the back. Then make a hemmed strip again and wrap it tight around the middle of the bow. You don't need more than 4 inches in length this time. Now I'm going to turn it inside out and stuff it full of wadding and then sew it shut. I chose to hand sew it shut. Then I made 2 strips of fabric in the yellow fabric again that are 1 meter by 8 inches. I folded them in half lengthways, sewed them like the bow, turned them inside out, ironed them flat, and then top stitched them shut. I then hand sewed these into the back of the bow. So those are the finished detail pieces for my yukata version of Shoto Todoroki. Today we made the bow, sash, and the collar, and next time we will be working on the base yukata as well as the mask. So I hope you'll tune in for those, and here are some finished pictures of what the outfit's going to look like when it's all done. Right, that was work log 1. I hope you really enjoy it. This is a really rough and ready way of showing you guys how I make my costumes, and hopefully I'll be making more of these as well as I make more costumes this year. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, please remember to be creepy.